Well, what's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR. Welcome to another episode of Other People's Questions, where I answer all the questions that you guys have sent me over the past week. We got a pretty standard episode, and there's even a good amount of debates in the comments section, which I am absolutely loving. And two of you in particular actually had some of the same questions, so I'll be sure to answer both of those questions at the same time. So starting off real simple is the man who apparently I've been struggling with your name for like the past month or two. And you go by the name of Aul Cerna? Because I'm looking how you're spelling it, and you got like an A and then a dash and then a UL, so it's like, sounds like an Aul Cerna. Hope I get that right this time. And you want to know, if Lucia's Devil Trigger looks more like a bird angel, do I think it should be named an angel trigger or a chicken trigger? No, it's a Devil Trigger. She's very much a demon. That's confirmed. Marius is one of, Lucia is one of Marius's creations. He very much focuses on demonic power. Just because something looks like an angel doesn't necessarily make it an angel. I mean, heck, you can have demons that dress up as angels and are very deceptive. So no, it's very much a Devil Trigger. Next question comes from Zyborg136, and your question actually ties in with J-Bat's question also, and you both wanted to know what are my thoughts on Disney's announcement of a new Star Wars trilogy and the return of Jar Jar Binks. Personally, I've never had a problem with Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is just annoying. It's these two I hate. I openly hate these characters, and I know that's gonna upset one of my viewers who just doesn't like me ranting and raving, but I'm making it very, very clear. Someone asks me the question, I'm gonna have to answer it. It's my channel, so I'm gonna do things my way. So, Jar Jar Binks, annoying, but I can deal with it. Those two, I want nothing to do with it. Now, going back to your question though, I'm actually fine with this announcement of a new trilogy. I just hope it gets away from the Skywalkers. As far as I'm concerned, Star Wars, the Skywalker storyline starts with 1 and ends with 6. 7 and 8 and 9 are probably just going to be a couple of bad fan expensive films. So, if we can just venture into any other realm outside of the Skywalkers, I think we'll be fine. Now, I know that a lot of people would like us to go into the Old Republic, and personally, I don't really know too much of the Old Republic, but the director did say that he wanted to venture off into a different part of Star Wars that we've never seen before. So that gives me the opinion that maybe this might not be the Old Republic, maybe it might be starring a different story arc, which is something I would be open for. So as long as it is something new and it has nothing to do with the Skywalker lineage, I'll be perfectly fine with it and I'll be pumped up to see it. Next question comes from Diadrive CJ. You want to know, as a fan of Castlevania franchise, in particular the main line before Lord of Shadow continuity, who is my favorite Belmont? I think Trevor Belmont. You kind of have to go with one of the classics, and yeah, I think I mean, just having seen him on the most recent Castlevania, I think that was Trevor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Trevor. Yeah, that was Trevor. Yeah, I just like to go classic. Keep it simple. Just keeping up the family name. I like that. So yeah, I'd go with Trevor Belmont. Next question comes from Gogu-san. You want to know, have I watched Dragon Ball Super English dub? No, I've not actually really felt much interest in watching it because I'm too busy watching it in Japanese. Not that I have anything wrong with the the English dub, but it's just so far behind. And I have never had an issue with watching an anime with English subtitles. And the Tournament of Power is still going on. That storyline is still getting pretty intense. So maybe when that is over and like taking a break, and then the English dub wants to catch up, when we get to the more like intense parts or some of my favorite parts from Super, then I think I'll watch those episodes in English dub. But as it stands right now, I don't really feel the need to actually watch it in English dub episode by episode yet. Next question comes from Santa Scarpino. You want to know, if Dante, Nero, and Virgil were forced into a competition to test who was the overall best physical strength, who would be at the top and who would be at the bottom? Okay. I think Dante would be at the top. I think Nero, I think Virgil might be at the bottom. The thing is that Dante is more of a strength-based combatant, and Virgil is more based off of speed. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think the only reason that they won their strength struggle in the third game is because Dante hadn't fully unlocked his powers, and you could clearly see that Virgil was tapping into his. But I think that on equal footing, Dante is just definitely more strength-based than either Nero or Virgil. So I think it would be Dante, Nero, and then Virgil. Next question comes from Jalen Bradford. He wants to know, between Lara Croft, Nathan Drake, and Leon S. Kennedy, who I think is the luckiest of them all? By far, Nathan Drake. Nathan Drake is the luckiest. I mean, that's something that even I acknowledge in my Versus series of it, and even Death Battle did. It's like the concept of luck it's definitely a main factor in Nathan Drake's survival, but luck only lasts so long. While Leon and Lore, it's more based off of skill and survivability. Drake is has definitely survived the more luckier situations than either two of them combined. Next question comes from Matt Cruz. You want to know, have I played any of the Halo games, and if so, which is my favorite? Yes, I have played all the Halo games, except, oh no, I've played 5. But I would say my favorite is the first Halo. You know, Evolved Combat. First one, simple, classic. So yeah, definitely the first one. Next question comes from Cassidy J. Williams, and you want to know, what are my thoughts on the live-action film adaptations of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas and The Cat in the Hat? Well, I think The Cat in the Hat is not that great, and surprisingly, I think that was the last movie I saw Mike Myers in live action. I don't think I'm curious what he's been up to lately. But in terms of the live action of The Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey, that is, I don't give a damn what any of you guys say. That is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I'm not kidding. Better than Jingle All the Way, better than Die Hard, even though Die Hard is a better film and it is a Christmas movie, but I think that this is a better Christmas movie, and I absolutely think it's better than the animated version because it actually explained why the Grinch hated Christmas. And telling you, if you had gone through that kind of experience, I think you would hate Christmas just as intensively too. So I absolutely love the live action version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and I believe that they're doing another updated animated version, or like CGI, of How the Grinch Stole Christmas that's going to have Benedict Cumberbatch do the voice of the Grinch, so I'm really curious to see that too. But in terms of the live action, I absolutely love it. Next question comes from the Immortal Super Being. You want to, who do I think would win in a fight between Dante versus Virgil, or Dante's Inferno versus Devil May Cry? Oh, well, that's a tough one. I don't, I probably would have to go with Dante. But the thing is that Virgil is a ghost. That's the problem. I mean, if you meant Dante's Inferno versus Devil May Cry, it would be Dante and Dante, because the guy's name in Dante's Inferno is also Dante. So basically, who would win between the Dantes? I would probably say Devil May Cry. I think he just has more abilities. I think that Dante from Dante's Inferno would definitely put up a serious fight, but he would ultimately lose. Next question comes from Yoda Date, and you want to know, why am I not a fan of One Piece, Bleach, or Naruto? Just saying. I don't know. I guess maybe I just don't have the time to commit to those type of franchises. I mean, that's something that you really need to sit down and binge, and I'm just working on so many other things that maybe I just don't have time. And they've just never really appealed to me unless like a lot of people recommended that I sit down and watch them. I mean, I've seen a few episodes of Naruto and Bleach when I felt I needed to, because, you know, in terms of, you know, adding it to my analysis and my Versus series, but I've never actually felt I was a real fan of those franchises, but just in terms of needing to get information. Next question comes from Black Rabbit of Inel. You want to know, speaking of Jurassic Park, did I know that the T-Rex and others similar to that are more related to birds rather than reptiles? Yes, I recently saw a few dinosaur documentaries that came out a few years back that made that very, very clear. And heck, that was even stated in Jurassic Park 1 about how when Dr. Grant was explaining the raptor and how its skeleton was actually more shaped like a bird. So yeah, that's something we've known for some time. Next question comes from Jake Albanet, and you want to know, what did I think of the most recent death battle between Naruto and I can't even pronounce the guy's name, but I thought it was a good matchup. But again, it was with two characters that I didn't really know all that much about, and you know, that death battle didn't make me any more a fan or not of either of those characters. I just thought it was an entertaining watch. So yeah, I thought it was okay. Next question comes from Simbel 18, and you want to know, can I do a James Bond versus Jason Bourne and Versus series? Well, no, because that's just weird. I mean, that maybe have Death Battle do that, but the problem is which James Bond are we talking about? There have been multiple versions of James Bond that are very, very different, and there's only one version of Jason Bourne that we've seen in several films. So if you were going to make that statement, you would need to be specific as for which Bond you want to use. Next question comes from random Chiropetra. Hope I said that right. They're definitely a newbie. Going by a name and you want to know, what is my favorite fictional reality? The Matrix. I think outside of you know, being plugged up or having to deal with agents, you know, it would pretty much be the same as this. I just, you know, wouldn't notice it. Maybe I'd notice a couple of little glitches, but I thought the Matrix was always pretty cool. And the last question of the episode comes from Abel Z, and you want to know, what is my least favorite kind of videos that are uploaded to YouTube? Least favorite? I guess makeup tutorial videos, just because I don't wear any kind of makeup, so they don't really appeal to me, so I don't really have much interest or much like towards out of those kind of videos. So I would say makeup tutorials. And with that, those are all the questions you guys sent for this week. I'd like to thank all of you guys for making this episode possible. If you guys have any more questions you would like me to answer in next week's episode, be sure to type them in the comments down below. Make sure you get them into me before next Wednesday, before I start filming this. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.